Tonight, America is mourning. We didn't just lose a star, we lost a legend, a piece of history.
The world of music has lost one of its most emotional storytellers. In quiet homes, in cars on late-night drives, and through headphones worn during moments of reflection, his voice once offered comfort to millions. Now that voice has fallen silent. News of Carmen's passing has brought a wave of sadness to fans who grew up with his songs and found pieces of their own stories within his lyrics. Carmen first stepped into the spotlight as the lead vocalist of the rock band the Raspberries. In the early days, their energetic performances and melodic sound captured the spirit of a changing musical era. Audiences were drawn not only to the band's catchy rhythms but also to Carmen's heartfelt delivery. His ability to blend rock passion with gentle vulnerability quickly set him apart. As the years passed, Carmen began a solo journey that would shape his lasting legacy. He carried with him a deep appreciation for classical music, often weaving its influence into modern pop and rock arrangements. This unique fusion gave his songs a powerful emotional depth. Tracks like All by Myself became more than just chart successes. They turned into anthems of loneliness, longing, and personal strength. Listeners across generations found comfort in his music. Some played his songs after heartbreak. Others sang along during moments of quiet reflection. His voice seemed to understand human emotion in a way that words alone often could not. One longtime fan shared online, "When I felt completely alone, his music reminded me that someone else understood that feeling." In the 1980s, Carmen reached new audiences with songs like Hungry Eyes, which carried a softer, romantic energy. The track quickly became a cultural favorite. Its gentle melody and sincere tone helped it remain popular decades after its release. Through changing trends in the music industry, Carmen's work stayed relevant because it spoke directly to the heart. Friends and fellow musicians have remembered him as both passionate and thoughtful. A former collaborator reflected in a tribute, "Eric didn't just write songs. He built emotional worlds inside them. Every note had meaning and every lyric had purpose." Those who worked with him often described his dedication to perfection and his deep respect for the craft of songwriting. Behind the spotlight, Carmen lived a life shaped by creativity and quiet reflection. He preferred to let his music speak for him rather than chase constant fame. Even during periods away from the public eye, his influence continued to grow. Younger artists discovered his recordings and found inspiration in his storytelling style and melodic strength. As news of his passing spread, social media filled with memories and gratitude. Fans shared stories of concerts attended decades ago, cassette tapes played until they wore thin, and moments when his voice felt like a trusted companion. A family statement expressed heartfelt thanks for the love shown to him throughout his career, saying, "He believed music could heal people." Knowing his songs meant something to so many brought him great peace. Today, his melodies still echo in the background of countless lives. They play in wedding halls, on radio stations, and in quiet rooms where someone searches for comfort. Though the man himself is gone, the emotion he captured in song remains timeless. Carmen leaves behind more than a collection of hits. He leaves behind a legacy of honesty, vulnerability, and artistic courage. His music continues to remind listeners that it is okay to feel deeply, to love fully, and to keep singing even through sorrow. In memory and melody, his voice will never truly fade. The tragic news was confirmed quietly, almost like a fading note at the end of a long and beautiful song. In homes filled with memories and on playlists that shape generations, the voice of Carmen now feels more precious than ever. The world of music has lost one of its most emotional storytellers, a man whose melodies once gave comfort to lonely hearts and hope to silent dreams. Born with a deep love for music, Carmen showed early signs of a rare gift. His journey began not under bright lights, but in simple rooms where he practiced endlessly, learning to blend classical sounds with modern emotion. Those early years shaped his signature style. He believed that music was not only about sound. It was about feeling, about telling stories that listeners could carry with them through life. His rise to fame came as the lead vocalist of the rock band the Raspberries. Their energetic performances and catchy songs quickly earned attention across the country. Audiences were drawn not just to the rhythm, but to Carmen's powerful voice that could shift from joyful excitement to deep vulnerability in a single moment. A former bandmate once shared in an interview, Eric always sang like he meant every word. Even in rehearsals he gave his whole heart. As the band's success grew, so did Carmen's desire to explore new creative paths. He later stepped into a solo career that would define his legacy in unforgettable ways. With the release of emotional ballads that touched listeners worldwide, he became known as a master of musical storytelling. His ability to turn personal pain and longing into universal anthems made his songs timeless. One of his most iconic hits captured the feeling of isolation and strength in equal measure. Listeners found comfort in its honesty, often saying it felt like the song understood them when no one else could. A fan wrote on social media years later, "His music stayed with me during my darkest nights. It made me feel less alone." Another unforgettable track showed Carmen's remarkable ability to blend romance, nostalgia, and cinematic emotion. The song's soaring melody and heartfelt lyrics became a symbol of longing and connection. It played in dance halls, movie scenes, and quiet moments between loved ones. A music critic once noted, "He didn't just write songs. He created emotional spaces where people could remember, dream, and heal." Despite his fame, Eric Carmen remained deeply private. Friends described him as thoughtful, focused, and driven by a constant desire to improve his craft. He spent long hours refining melodies and lyrics, searching for the perfect balance between classical influence and modern sound. Those who worked closely with him often spoke of his quiet dedication. Eric never chased trends, a longtime collaborator recalled. He chased truth in music. That's why his songs still matter today. Over the years, his influence reached far beyond the charts. Younger artists cited his ballads as inspiration for their own work. His songs were covered, reimagined, and rediscovered by new generations. Even those who had never seen him perform live felt connected to his voice through recordings that carried both strength and tenderness. As news of his passing spread, tributes poured in from around the world. Musicians, actors, and fans shared memories of how his music shaped important chapters of their lives. Some remembered hearing his songs on late-night radio drives. Others recalled wedding dances or quiet moments after heartbreak. Each story reflected the same truth. Eric Carmen had a way of turning ordinary feelings into unforgettable music. A family statement released shortly after his passing spoke gently of his legacy. He believed music was a gift meant to be shared. Knowing his songs continued to bring comfort would have meant everything to him. The message resonated deeply, reminding many that his greatest achievement was not fame but connection. In the days following the announcement, his songs climbed back onto streaming charts. Not as a trend but as a tribute. Listeners returned to familiar melodies, finding new meaning in lyrics that once felt like personal conversations. The emotional honesty he offered through music now felt like a lasting goodbye. Though the stage lights have dimmed and the voice that once filled arenas is now silent, Eric Carmen's presence remains alive in every note he left behind. His work stands as a reminder that true artistry does not fade with time. It grows stronger through memory, through shared experience, and through the quiet power of song. As the world reflects on his journey, there is comfort in knowing that his music will continue to travel across generations. In headphones, car radios, and concert tributes yet to come, his voice will still be heard. And in those moments, listeners will once again feel understood. Eric Carmen may have taken his final bow, but the emotional stories he told through music will never truly end. His legacy lives on in the hearts he touched, the dreams he inspired, and the timeless ballads that will forever echo through the soundtrack of life. The tragic news arrived with a quiet weight, spreading across the sports world like an echo from a distant stadium. Beyond the stage and spotlight, another legend had long made his mark on the football field. Matt Snell, remembered as one of the most powerful runners of his era, leaves behind a legacy built on strength, courage, and one unforgettable moment that helped change football history forever. Long before packed crowds chanted his name, Snell's journey began with determination and a simple love for the game. He developed his skills through years of hard training, learning to use both physical power and sharp instinct to outmaneuver defenders. Coaches who saw him play as a young athlete often spoke about his natural presence on the field. "He ran with purpose," one former mentor once said. Even then, you could tell he was meant for something big. His professional career found its true direction when he joined the New York Jets. At a time when the team was still working to earn national respect, Snell became a symbol of their growing confidence. His running style was fearless. He charged forward with relentless energy, often refusing to be brought down by a single tackle. Fans admired not only his strength but also his steady focus during high-pressure moments. Teammates later recalled that Snell's influence extended far beyond game day. He was known for encouraging younger players and leading by example during difficult seasons. Matt never talked about fear, a former teammate shared in a tribute. He talked about preparation. He believed that if you worked hard enough, the result would take care of itself. That belief was tested on one of the biggest stages in sports history. When the Jets faced a heavily favored opponent in a championship game that would later be remembered as a turning point for professional football, few outside the team believed victory was possible. The pressure was immense. The stakes were higher than ever before. Yet Snell remained calm, trusting in his training and in the unity of his teammates. From the opening moments of the game, his determination was clear. He carried the ball with power and patience, pushing through defensive lines that seemed impossible to break. Each yard gained felt like a statement. Each successful play strengthened the belief that history could be rewritten. A sports commentator later reflected, Snell wasn't just running for points. He was running for respect, for his team, his league, and everyone who believed in them. His performance became one of the defining stories of that legendary contest. Fans still remember the way he moved across the field, refusing to surrender momentum even when surrounded. His ability to control the pace of the game helped secure a stunning victory that changed how the football world viewed the American Football League. What once seemed like an underdog dream had become a powerful reality. After that historic triumph, Snell's name became forever linked with courage and transformation. He continued to play with heart in the seasons that followed, but it was that unforgettable game that cemented his place in sports history. Younger athletes studied his style, hoping to capture even a fraction of his resilience and strength. Off the field, those who knew him personally often described a quieter side. Friends spoke about his thoughtful nature and his willingness to share stories from his playing days with humility. He enjoyed connecting with fans, especially those who remembered watching that famous victory unfold. He never acted like a superstar, a longtime supporter once wrote online. He acted like someone grateful for every moment he had in the game. As news of his passing spread, tributes began to appear from across the football community. Former players, coaches, and supporters shared memories of how his determination inspired them during challenging times. Some spoke about watching him as children and deciding then to pursue their own athletic dreams. Others simply thanked him for representing perseverance in its purest form. In a heartfelt message, a family member expressed both sadness and pride. He gave everything to the sport he loved, the statement read. But more importantly, he gave his kindness and wisdom to the people around him. Those words resonated deeply with fans who had followed his journey for decades. Today, as highlights of his career are replayed and old photographs resurface, the emotional impact of his achievements feels stronger than ever. His story reminds the world that greatness is not only measured by trophies or headlines. It is also measured by the courage to challenge expectations and the strength to stand firm when doubt surrounds you. Though the roar of the crowd has faded and the game has moved into a new era, Matt Snell's legacy continues to run forward. His historic performance remains a symbol of belief against the odds, a moment when determination reshaped the future of football. In stadiums filled with new heroes and new dreams, his spirit still lives on. As the sports world pauses to remember him, there is comfort in knowing that his impact will never be forgotten. Through memories shared by teammates, lessons passed down to younger players, and the timeless story of that extraordinary victory, his influence endures. Matt Snell may have taken his final rest, but the power of his journey continues to inspire. In every underdog who dares to believe, in every runner who refuses to give up, and in every fan who still cheers for the impossible, his legacy moves forward, strong, fearless, and forever remembered.